Hi everyone, I'm Sharon Fradkin. I'm your host for Get Fresh Cooking Show. This is Carlos Vargas.
Hello.
I'm working on not saying Carlos Vargas because I've got the Boston accent and everybody's making fun of me. So Carlos Vargas. You don't.
I don't make fun of you.
And that's good. So we're going to cook 2 quick seafood suppers.
Right.
And these are, in a half hour, we're going to make 2 dinners, one with shrimp, one with big sea scallops. So you can do this. These are easy. Trust me on this. These are easy.
They are.
The
They're very
scallop
simple.
one I make all the time.
And I made this a few times last year. Yeah.
So we're going to start. The first one is the shrimp. Tell us what's the name of it is.
It's the shrimp
with orzo
feta and orzo.
Feta and orzo.
So about 2 tablespoons of olive oil there. And because we don't have onions, I've got shallots. I'm going to use shallots instead.
I decided to get shallots for lots of the shows.
And
well, Stop and Shop decided to give us shallots for lots of the shows.
They were very kind to give us all the ingredients,
very kind.
right?
We are so fortunate.
Yep.
They are great.
Could you mind just chopping that up for me?
Not at all. How big? How small?
Yeah, just dice it.
Okay.
And again, this is a pretty simple recipe. It calls for baking. I think I mentioned this to you. Sometimes I don't have the time to bake when the boys were at home trying to get dinner and everything done.
Bake it when it's done.
Yeah, so I would just pop it underneath the broiler, because really all you want is the feta to brown up, kind of pretties the whole thing up a little bit.
Here's the onion.
And everybody knows how to open a garlic here, right? Just kind of smash it, take the skin off.
I'm going to have to do it in a few minutes too. Does the onion go in there?
The onion goes right in there, if you don't mind. Thank you.
A little more of a reach for me, but I can do it. Particularly if you have the big knife. Hang on a minute. I'll give you the rest. These are bigger pieces.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
There you go.
Just going to turn that a little bit. This is kind of browns for like 4 to 6 minutes. I know the recipe calls 5 or 6 minutes, but...
Now again, we're making half of these recipes. They're large recipes. Now my eyes are watering a tad from the shallots, but it's not as bad as with onions.
Right, it's
to be honest with you.
So I've got this going. What's going on in your recipe
Well, what's going on in my recipe? The first thing I do, we melted maybe 3 tablespoons of butter, and that's right here in this bowl. And I'm going to talk about the scallops with you. These are sea scallops. The bay scallops are very little. Sea scallops, I really like them as large as you can get them. I want you to pay attention, or I want to call your attention to the muscle that's on some of them, not all of them.
And the muscle is what holds it onto the shell, right?
Yeah, and so, but it's chewy, and it's not something you really want to be eating. So these are sort of muscleless. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah,
here's a muscle,
a couple in
and
there.
you just like pull it off. It's just usually on the side, so just kind of feel around for where it may be and get it off there, because really, whoops, sorry, something you don't want to have. And one last one. There we go. So we put the scallops in. Scallops are fairly delicate. You don't want to be mixing them, stirring them, banging them, using anything that's a problem.
And they don't need a lot of time to cook,
no.
right? They're just, some folks eat them raw.
As Carlos was just telling us.
I've had them raw and they're
Listen,
so
you can eat sushi, so you may as well eat that. What I'm doing here is peeling the garlics, very similar to what Carlos just did. This is a mixture. We mix the scallops with the shallots and the garlic in the oil. In the melted butter.
Yep,
sorry.
Butter.
We're going to use
I've
oil
got the
later.
oil over here, so.
Yeah, we're going to use oil later, and then we put it all together, mix it carefully, and then I'm going to take some breadcrumbs, mix that with oil and some I believe some salt and pepper. If you want to be creative, you can mix it with cheese. You can put in grated Parmesan. You can sprinkle cheese on the top. So I have the little knife that I really like. It's not as good for cutting some things, but it works better with my size hand. So you may want to think of that when you're cooking at home, what works best for you.
I've tossed my garlic and the scallions in there. They've done its goodness here. They've started to brown and become translucent. I'm going to throw a can of diced tomatoes in.
Right, this is Stop and Shop brand.
Right, Stop and Shop brand. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank them so much.
That does its thing here.
Oops. So these garlic cloves are diced up are going right in with the shallots, with the scallops, sorry, and now the shallot. I hope we're not confusing you by making the two recipes together. So even though these are quick and easy, you might want a little help in the kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just putting a little bit of salt in here.
Right.
The feta has a lot of salt, so I don't.
Right,
I don't
it is a
throw
salty
salt
product.
in, much salt.
There you go. Feta's a great melty cheese.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think so because it's fairly dry.
There's many different types of fetas. I go to Athena over in Brockton. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I haven't.
Yeah, there's about 8 or 9 different types of fetas. There's goat milk feta. And
Which is
mixed
probably better
cow.
for me because I have a little dairy
It's
issue.
so flavorful and pungent and stuff.
So it's,
real-
yeah, because people don't know that. They think feta is all goat, but it
Yeah.
isn't. There's cow's milk feta as well.
And the sheep as well. Sheep as well. Yep.
So this would be good if it was a little bit smaller, so I'm using the bigger knife to try to get the onion and shallot. You can use the small sweet onion instead, whatever you choose, honestly. And this goes in here with the scallops and the garlic, and
And
we
I know
just
you're
kind of mix it up.
Your recipe calls for some parsley. This one does too. I'm just going to throw parsley stems and all because it's just going to.
So I want you guys to see what I'm doing here. I'm just mixing carefully the scallops with the melted butter and the garlic and the onion. And that goes in the bottom of a casserole. This is something I like to use for small quantity. But it's really right at the base. I don't know if you can see that, sorry.
Yep, absolutely.
And I spread them out. There we go.
I'm going to throw my shrimp in here. Just going to lay it. This calls for larger shrimp. Stop and Shop didn't have it, so we're using smaller
Yeah,
shrimp.
we wanted the deveined and
Yep.
shelled.
Yep.
And they had deveined but not shelled.
Right.
Or maybe it was frozen, I can't remember, but it'll work with the smaller shrimp, no
Absolutely.
problem.
It'll work with clams. It'll work whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It doesn't.
You can put, we thought, we could do this dish with shrimp as well as
Absolutely.
that one with scallops. It
We
really
could.
doesn't matter. Okay. So then yours just sits and cooks a while?
It does. I'm going to put a little bit of oregano in mine,
Okay.
and then I just pop it into.
That looks pretty good already.
Yeah, it smells delicious.
So this dish is now we're going to put the coating on, the breadcrumbs that go on top of this. So I've used gluten-free breadcrumbs because that's what I
That's
eat,
right,
but
yep.
you do not need to. These are pre-seasoned, and this is, it's a cup of breadcrumbs in the recipe. And then also 5 tablespoons of olive oil. And I just need to check and make sure, oh yeah, a pinch of ground nutmeg, which probably goes right here.
And the shrimp are almost cooked here.
I happen to really like nutmeg, so I use a little more than
Yeah.
a pinch. Okay. And you mix the crumbs together. It just makes it a kind of crumbly topping. But look really how easy this is. Cut up a piece of onion,
Yeah.
cut up some garlic, take the scallops that are all done. All you have to do is rinse them and take off the muscle. And look at this. This is just topping. You can use anything. I mean, I bet you could use stovetop. Might be too heavy.
Do you think so?
I think so. This is a lighter breadcrumb thing.
And
So,
I'm throwing a
okay.
little bit of lemon rind in here. Calls for a little bit of lemon juice.
So this stuff goes on the top here. I'm sorry if we're both cooking at the same time. We could be done and looking at each other.
No worries.
Okay.
And that was about a tablespoon, maybe a little less than a tablespoon of lemon juice. That does its thing.
And I want you all to see this as well. This is how the scallops look in the pan.
Yeah,
It's
look
really
pretty,
a baked
pretty.
casserole, but it's really
pretty.
easy. And this goes in the oven now for maybe 10, 11 minutes or something like
Yep.
that in 450 degrees.
Perfect.
So I'm going to pop that in.
And I have your parsley here. It's been chopped.
Yep, we're going to use some parsley at the top.
So that is just about done. I'm going to grab the orzo.
Oh, yeah, we've been
And when I'm
cooking
just,
orzo.
yeah, just going to layer that in there.
Okay.
So you cook the orzo until it's you cook the orzo until it's al dente, but you don't rinse it, right?
Yeah, you just drain it, and
Yeah,
that's
just
it.
drain it. You put a little bit down the bottom here.
Now, the difference between orzo, which looks a little grainish, but isn't, it's a macaroni product.
It's
a pasta.
right? You put about 2/3 of it down here.
But it's a good base.
It is.
Because it's small, and so you're not eating long pieces of pasta or
Right.
big, heavy pieces.
What I'm going
so
to do
you-
is I'm going to put this
right on top.
right on top.
So why did you separate the orzo?
Because you put the rest of it on top
Ah,
with the feta, as my
Uh-huh.
Greek friends say it at Athena. Feta.
feta.
The feta cheese. Put that there, right?
Yep.
And then this just gets baked for about 15 minutes. And again, I've done this before where I don't have 15 minutes. I just pop it underneath the broiler.
Because
Really,
it's cooked.
Right, it
The
has been.
orzo's cooked, the shrimp is cooked, the tomatoes are warmed, they're already cooked, so you could pop this in the broiler. And the only point of it is to melt the feta.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Brown the feta, because the
Brown
feta
it.
really doesn't melt. Just browns up quite a bit, so. And we can buy chopped feta, or we can buy chopped feta, or we can buy the bigger chunks. I like buying it in the blocks.
Yeah, and then cutting the
Yeah,
size you
yeah.
want. The bigger the piece, the longer it takes for it to melt.
Sure. So so this goes into the oven, like 450 for like 15, 20 minutes. And yours is in the oven?
Mine is in the oven,
Mine's the
so
next
you
one.
can push it away. Push it over to the side.
Yeah, I'll just put it up here.
Perfect. So these two things were easy to prepare.
What, 15 minutes maybe?
Yeah,
20 minutes?
mine has some lemon wedges if you want when
Yep.
it comes out, and some parsley on the top.
Same here.
And Carlos has
Yeah, some
sort of
parsley.
similar.
Yeah.
So the kind of thing that I usually will eat that with is a salad.
Yes.
Because I don't want a heavy side with it because of the
Right.
breadcrumbs on mine.
And
I
the
don't want
pasta on mine.
potato.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
So
Nice light salad with the champagne vinaigrette or something.
Right, even if we wanted one of the salads we
Yeah,
made
the day
without the
before.
grain, or
Yeah.
even with the grain.
Right.
So.
Make it easy.
Yeah. So
And,
is there anything, I mean, we just have to kind of wait for them to be done, really.
Take it out of the oven and they're done.
Yeah.
Right.
So these are really easy
Right.
dinners. And seafood's easy to cook with because it's fast.
Right.
Carlos was mentioning getting some scallops right out of the ocean.
Right. I've had the pleasure of being on someone's boat, and as the scallopers bring up the scallops, they're just taking them out of those shells that look like the old
So it's
shells.
like clams. I mean,
Exactly.
it's like eating steamed
eating
clams.
or,
but they're
or
not
an
even
oyster.
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of rinse them off a little bit because they have sand.
Sand.
But you've had fresh.
So are pearls in scallop shells? Is it pearl? Where is pearls? I think they're in
Are
scallop
they?
shells.
Scallop shells?
Some.
Some, yeah, but not all.
No, but
Prob-
not all. Some are
Probably not around
man-made.
here.
So how do you eat sushi? Because we're hoping for one of our future shows
Yeah.
to have somebody on that's going to help us make
Yeah.
sushi.
That'd be great.
And it's at home sushi, like the kind of sushi that Japanese families eat at home.
Right.
Actually, there's an exhibit just starting at Fuller Art Museum.
Okay.
And that's what kind of gave me the idea, because they're doing Japanese cooking and they're showing a lot of utensils, and they're doing some sushi.
Sure.
And they have thought that maybe later on, they couldn't come on this show, but
Make
they
a
would
good
be able
show.
to come when
Absolutely.
we're doing
Yeah.
another show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The different rices and the seaweeds. I don't eat a lot of like raw seafood.
I don't either, though you ate those
than
scallops.
The scallops off the boat, right?
Yeah.
But I'm more. It's got to be steamed or
Right.
is it sashimied or
Sashimi is
yeah.
not cooked.
It's not cooked or is it cooked?
I think,
I don't think
well,
it
I
is
don't know.
cooked. I
I'm
don't know.
sorry, not
don't know.
cooked, no.
We eat a lot of things we don't know.
Yeah, and we want to introduce you to them the same way as we
Yep,
introduce them to
absolutely.
ourselves. Because I eat California rolls. That's not
Yeah,
really
yeah,
sushi, but
yeah.
I eat them. They're all cooked.
Right.
Avocado in there or some cucumber or
Sure.
whatever. But my son loves sushi and he eats quite a bit of it. And he will eat tuna rolls and salmon
Yeah, yeah.
things. And I went into, I think, Mr. Chef.
Yeah.
And they were preparing sushi. And they had, which was funny to me, it was, I thought it was called New York sushi, and it was like what I call Lux, which is smoked
Cream cheese.
salmon and cream cheese,
yeah.
rolled up. And, you can really be as creative as you want to with
Sure.
food.
Yeah.
That's one of the things we wanted you to know about cooking.
Right, right.
You
There's no
can be
boundaries.
flexible.
No
Most
boundaries.
things taste okay.
Right.
I mean, unless you put too much pepper in something or too much sweetness in something or not enough salt, you can't go wrong.
And just make sure that the stuff is fresh. I mean, especially
Right.
at this time of the year with all the farmers markets and stuff, it's all fresh.
Right.
You can't go wrong. Just a little bit of salt and pepper, a little
Right.
bit of
And
olive oil,
then
it's done.
Shop had a great array of, and I asked, these were fresh, the
Yep.
shrimp was fresh,
Yeah, they smell fresh,
not
yeah.
pre-frozen.
Right.
And you can smell it right away. When you want to open up a container of scallops and they aren't fresh,
Yeah.
you smell them immediately.
And these were dry scallops versus wet scallops. I don't know if you know the
I
difference.
don't know. Tell
So
me about it. I've read.
The difference is the wet scallops get transported in these plastic vats sitting in a liquid that kind of preserves them a little bit, and it gives them an awful flavor.
And they're like, it's like a milky looking
It is,
kind
yeah,
of
it's a milky,
liquid.
there's some
Yeah.
chemicals and stuff in there. You know, a lot of the fresh fish mongers only do dry scallops, which means they all get thrown into a tub and they all get served without being in that liquid, and the liquid
Right.
takes up some of the room that you pay for. So,
Right.
so
And
these were dry scallops.
right.
So,
These are dry.
yeah, which is
And
great.
I try to get ones that are very similar sized
Yeah.
when I'm cooking scallops. Because you don't want one done and the little ones are
Sure.
like chewy. Because unfortunately, if you overcook seafood, same with shrimp, a little
Right.
bit like an elastic band or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that, not very good. Let
Not
me check
pleasant.
the oven here and see if I've got any brown on mine. Oh, mine is good.
Yours are brown.
Yeah, where's my, hang on. Let me try this. Oh. You may want to turn the fire
Yeah,
up.
I'm going to turn the broiler on here.
So I just took this out of the oven. The crumbs are all brown on the top. The scallops are just done. You can tell when scallops are done, they're not clear anymore.
Right.
Like they were.
Translucent?
Yeah, they're not translucent. They're more dense and white. These are a little of each.
Yeah.
I'm going to say a little bit translucent in the middle.
Yeah.
But they look really
It
terrific.
does, looks great.
And this is the easiest thing. This was a
Right,
dish I
right.
bought at Marshall's.
Right.
And I just said, what am I going to do with this dish? I'll serve vegetables in it. And then
Sure.
it became my dish to cook
Seafood
scallops.
casserole, yeah.
So, my husband and I, this is fine for us, maybe even a
Sure.
third meal for him, depends. So this is great. So let's put let's
Parsley
put
on
that
top?
on, sure. And we can cut a little piece of lemon,
Sure.
or squeeze a little lemon juice on it, which always is good. Where's your lemon, Carlos? Over
The
here?
lemon's right there.
I'll grab it,
Mine should
sorry.
be done in about a minute, so,
We do anything we want. We move around the kitchen.
sure.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, here, let me just
Sure.
use the edge of that and just slice a couple of pieces of lemon and cut them in half, because we care about prettiness always. And we can just put them right around.
Eat with your eyes.
Eat with your eyes. Well, that is true. So doesn't that look wonderful?
That does. Looks
And
pretty.
this, you just put it right on your plate. You don't even have to put it in a serving
Yeah.
dish, depending upon what you cooked it on. So we've gotten everything out of the oven. I put my scallops back in for a bit
Yeah.
under the broiler because I just wanted to make sure they weren't translucent in
Right,
any way
right.
because we don't want to poison anybody
No,
when we eat
they
it.
look perfect.
Yeah, they do. It looks wonderful. And tell me,
Yeah.
what do you got
Mine
there?
is done here. It's brown. Feta doesn't melt because of all the water in it. And typically I would just scoop this out and put on a plate with a salad, and dinner's on.
You're done. So scoop some out and let us
Yeah,
see.
so I'm going to do that. So this is the,
Now, we've got orzo on the bottom, the shrimp mixture in the middle, and then
Right.
orzo on the top. So we
Exactly.
don't want it to look too messy, but
But you know it's
it's
gonna
not
look
really
messy.
like lasagna.
no, it's not like lasagna. So the cheese kind of disappears here, but it's,
Catch that shrimp.
yeah, I'm going to grab it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That looks
Maybe grab
wonderful.
a
You
little
want the
bit of this.
feta on the top. And you can also add more at the end if you're a real feta lover. You putting parsley on that? or
Yeah,
no?
I gave you all my parsley because we used
Oh,
it all
he
up
gave
in the
me all
previous
his
recipe.
parsley.
No worries.
But you could put parsley
Yeah,
on there. You
absolutely.
could put basil on there because basil's great with the
Yeah,
tomato
it is.
taste. So,
It
and
is.
this is the scallop dish, which I'll turn over to, because it looks great coming to the table just the way it is, honestly. But people can't eat out of this container.
Yeah, no.
So,
That smells delicious. I smell the
it's
scallops.
really
yeah.
good. And it's so much food, it's more than you'd think.
That would be what, 3 people, maybe 3
Yeah,
servings
I
with
would
a side
say.
salad or
Oh, yeah,
some
absolutely.
sort of potatoes?
Absolutely. And, you know, you've got the nice onions in here, you've got the garlic in here,
Yeah,
and you've got these delicious little lemons. And I don't want to miss the parsley that we
Parsley.
worked so hard to chop up. And, you know, again, I sometimes use sweet onion, I sometimes use scallops, I sometimes use cipollini onions.
yeah, again,
There's a
it's
lot
all-
of variety. So there you are.
all in the onion family, right?
So, yeah, so these are 2 easy seafood dinners. They really didn't take much time at all. We
Yeah.
kind of made them together, but if you made them
Sure.
separately, except for maybe cooking the orzo, which takes 10
Yeah.
minutes, and while it's cooking, you could be
Exactly.
doing the rest.
Everything else.
They're 15-minute meals,
really
20 max. So buy good quality seafood, get good
Important.
quality products, stop at Shop and
Yeah,
Stop and Shop, and
some
enjoy.
great stuff, yeah.
Thank you so much. Please come be with us again. Look and tell us what's going on. If you have ideas for show, things you're nervous about cooking but you'd like to know more about, don't
great.
hesitate to email Smack. The recipes all go up online.
They do.
All of these recipes will be online
Thank you
probably
to
within
Jeff
a week or
Pickett
two.
and all those guys who do
yeah,
that,
thank
yeah.
you to Smack and all the people there,
absolutely.
because the show is just fun and people really seem to like it.
Right. I do.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
nice to
there
see
you
you.
are. And people really seem to love us on the show.
Yeah.
Now, people must mention to you around
All
town.
the time, especially
Yeah.
at the golf course.
Ah.
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing tonight?
So we had Marty Malone from the golf course on to
Right.
cook with us last year. Maybe we'll try to get him to cook a new dish.
I'll put the squeeze on
Something
him next time I
new,
see him.
something
Yeah.
different, something that
Look out,
everybody
Marty.
isn't eating. Yeah. So thank you all so much.
you.
Thank you for being with us. Goodbye from Get
Bye-bye.
Fresh. Bye.